with a video response to Pointless Pattimus. She asks us if there's any game out there that really shaped us or shaped me into the well-rounded person that I am today. Well-rounded, you mean fat or psychologically well-rounded, or I'm not sure, but gaming or video games really play a very important role in my life. I mean, I've been playing video games ever since 1976, and I think gaming, computer systems did or still do play a huge role in my life. Pong, that was actually the first video game that I encountered at my uncle's, and it was on a Saturday, and we got to play Pong, my brother and I, and we loved it so much that when we left after the visit, we actually got to take it home with us. And what I discovered is that it is amazing to be able to move stuff on the screen, be an active participant in something that is actually moving on the screen, instead of just passively consuming a cartoon or a children's TV program. And I really like that. I really like the fact that you could actually compete against, well, at first my brother or my parents, but you could compete. Then I discovered actually that owning such a Pong system actually is a bit of a life changer, because we were the first in my group of friends at school to actually own such a system, and for some reason you become just popular because of that. You know, people want to come to your birthday party and they want to play the Pong, and even kids that you don't even like, or if they actually were bullying you, they became super friendly and wanted to play the Pong. Well, even back then I just did not invite any kid I didn't like, and I just, you know, I mean, if I like a person, I like him, but if a person pretends to like me because of something I own or something I have, and they want to enjoy that as well, just, you know, if they are using friendship in such an instrumental way, I just don't give them the light of day or shun them more, you know. So basically I learned a big psychological lesson because of that, that owning something or having access to something that another person doesn't have, I mean, I felt like sharing, and I like to have other kids around. I like to play it with friends, and if they were my genuine friends, I would not have any problems with it. But people befriending me or trying to befriend me just because they wanted to play the Pong, I had a problem with. So it basically taught me something about the true value of friendship, or true friendship and just fake friendship. So yeah, that was actually a big thing, and I was a very brave kid. No, I think I was a bit of the opposite. I was a bit careful as a child. I would just be very thoughtful of things. I would love to do dangerous stuff, but I would always think ahead and calculate the risks. And if something was relatively safe and risk of injury was not so high, I would go for it. And sometimes I would get hurt or something, but I would really always try to think ahead, plan ahead, just to avoid, you know, getting caught into something that you could be mad about later on because you could have seen that coming and you didn't and stuff. You know, like, yeah, I'm really getting off track here. Yeah, oh yeah, video games. Playing video games really showed me a way to, and it actually changed me as a person, because of trial and error. And you could retry. The thing is that we got Pong, And then we didn't have any video games for a long time. And I went to high school, and there was this, in our town, Alphen aan de Rijn, there was this Avifauna theme park where you could actually have free access to. And there was this arcade. And in the arcade, the first game that I really saw was Donkey Kong, and a game where two cowboys were pitted against each other and they were shooting each other. Those two games I saw, and I found the graphics amazing. I mean, nothing compared to Pong. And I really liked to play it, but these games cost money. So yeah, you really had to be very careful about what route you took, and yeah, play Donkey Kong the careful way, because otherwise you'd be without money, and yeah, you wouldn't have been able to play the game for very long. So yeah, so access to video games was scarce, and yeah, you really had to be careful of what you did, because yeah, you would be out of money in no time. So but then we got the video pack back home, and we had cartridges, and we also had a game similar to Donkey Kong that was Pickaxe Pete. If there was a game over, you could try again and again and again, and that really changed me as a person, because I learned that it was okay to make mistakes. I'm a bit perfectionistic, I guess. If you, yeah, I think as a child I already was perfectionistic, and I was planning ahead. That took that streak, that personality streak, a bit away from me, because I dared to jump in real life as well. But yeah, trial and error, just go for it, see where the ship strands. That's a German proverb, a Dutch proverb, to see where the ship strands. A Dutchism. Yeah, just go for the trial and error, and I think Pickaxe Pete and Casey Munchkin, which is the clone of Pac-Man, really made me dare to live on the edge more, and it really changed my outlook on things even. Yeah, and in high school, I had the video pack, and other people had the Ataris, and that taught me a lesson again, because the video pack was, well, it was like the Philips CDI. I mean, if you compare the Philips CDI with the PlayStation, the PlayStation kids were cool, or the Sega CD. PlayStation was a bit later, but the Sega CD kids were cool, but the CDI kids weren't, because the system was just yeah. The Commodore kids were cool, the MSX kids not so much, and the ZX Spectrum's kids, they were the underdogs in some aspect. But yeah, it started already with the video pack. The video pack system was not the Atari 2600 that everybody had. The Atari VCS with Pac-Man, with Donkey Kong, with all the famous games. And I also learned something, that people will become fanboys of a system. I never was a fanboy. I embrace all the systems. I liked all the technology, but people tended to become fanboys. They would defend the Atari no matter what, and they would attack the video pack no matter what. And I just could not. I just could not really feel that. But I joined in. I defended the video pack, and they attacked it, and I defended it, and I also attacked the Atari 2600, and secretly wanting to have such a system, but I never did. Not until much later. So that kind of shaped me as well, that owning a system can really put you in some sort of niche, or yeah, it did add a layer of complexity on the social interactions in high school. I was actually saving up for an Atari, secretly having admired the 2600 back in the day. I really wanted to have a programmable home computer. The video pack that we had, it had a keyboard, and Philips was actually, having all sorts of ads stating that programming capabilities and home computer capabilities would be coming to the system, but they never materialized. So I really was keen on learning BASIC. I already got books from the library, and I actually was programming BASIC, typing out BASIC programs on the typewriter. not being able to run them or debug them, but I was programming already, thinking out logical solutions to problems. And I really desperately wanted to have a computer to try that BASIC out, to try my programs out, to be more than just a game player, but to create them, or really master the machines. So I was actually saving up for an Atari 8-bit home computer. I liked the system, I liked the look. It was the Atari 800 XL or 600 XL, a very nice system, a white system with chrome and black, and it really, I thought, and it had cartridges like the 2600, and the games were really cool, arcade perfect. So I thought, yeah, let's go for the Atari. So I was saving up for that. But then my birthday came around, and my mom actually bought us the Commodore 64. So by pure accident, just because my mom chose the Commodore 64 and not the MSX or not the ZX Spectrum that was actually very heavily promoted, I ended up in the Commodore 64 camp. I could easily have been an Atari kid, or even an MSX kid, or a Spectrum kid, but there was a deal on the Commodore 64 with a slipstream tape drive and a quick-shot joystick, and it was marked down considerably. And the fact that it had a real keyboard made my mom decide that the Commodore 64 was going to be for us. And that really changed again, because now I had a system that actually was the preferred top dog system in school. I mean, people would actually not like it. Oh, that was the post. People would actually, not like the MSX that much, even though it was in a lot of ways quite superior. People didn't like the ZX Spectrum as much. It was a bit of the underdog machine, but the Commodore 64 really was a top dog machine. It actually was the system that our science department in high school actually got as well, and they got an interface for it that was able to be some sort of oscilloscope. It had some sort of oscilloscope functionality, but they didn't get the software for it because they figured that they could write it themselves. But the science teachers weren't capable of writing that software, and I actually ended up doing bits of that. That's crazy. So yeah, having the mainstream machine, oh yeah, and the same thing was for Video 2000, VHS, and Betamax. I mean, a lot of the cool kids, they would rent movies on their VHS systems, and my parents got the superior Video 2000 system, which had reversible tapes. You could actually even record up to 16 hours on a tape with very high definition quality video, but there weren't many videos available for rent for the system. So yeah, so I went from being a bit of the underdog to being a bit of the more popular, to owning a bit of the more popular machine. And the fanboyism was just rampant in my school. It was just crazy. And still to this day, people are very, very defensive of a certain system. They can't find anything wrong with the system, and people will just, as a robotron, as an automaton, respond in a very similar fashion. I mean, I love the PlayStation brand, and I love the Xbox brand. The Xbox brand has given me a little grief when it comes to updates or when it comes to turning on the machine and being able to play your game. Yeah, I had an Xbox 360 die on me, but yeah, and it never happened with a PlayStation. But yeah, so my user experience with the Xbox 360 has been quite good, even the Xbox One. My experience with the PlayStation, the original PlayStation and the PlayStation 2 have been superb. Really very nice, amazing systems. And then the PlayStation 3 came around. And compared to the update systems that were in place on the Xbox 360, very fast, only a couple of megabytes per game, the PlayStation 3 had huge huge updates. And because I have so many systems, I do not turn them on every day. I do not play games every day. And the Xbox brand really doesn't need to update as much as the PlayStation if you use it as rarely as I do. Every time I turn on the PlayStation 3, it needs to update. If I insert a disc, it needs to update. And it's not small updates, no, it's just updates that take up to half an hour or longer. So basically, often, I would end up not being able to play the PlayStation 3 game. Now, with the PlayStation 4, I thought, well, they must have smarted up and hopefully, you know, the updates will be faster and stuff. Well, the updates are, to some extent, faster, but they are huge. The latest update to a game called, a racing game, Drive Club, is 10 gigabytes. 10 freaking gigabytes. That's just... I think I've just stopped playing it because, I mean, whenever I turn on the PlayStation 4, it needs to update. And if I insert a disc, it needs to install, and it also needs to update. So basically, my experience on the PlayStation brand is turning the systems on, hoping that I'm able to play a game, end up watching YouTube on the damn thing while it's updating, and not experiencing the game. Now, sometimes I get irritated by, you know, again an update and stuff. So I post something on Facebook, and then there's this, still there's fanboys. There's fanboys that will just continue to say, well, I don't have that problem. Oh, it's fine on my system. Well, yeah, and it automatically updates. Well, you know, I have PlayStation Plus. My systems are set to automatically update, but for some reason they don't. And that's really weird, but they don't. At least the PlayStation 4 doesn't. The PlayStation 3 sometimes does, but not even, you know, not even on a regular basis. So there's just this objective thing, you know, I turn on my Xbox 360 or my Xbox One, and I end up playing the game. If I turn on the PlayStation 3 or the PlayStation 4, I often end up not playing the game because, well, there's updates in the way. And you can, of course, you can cancel the updates and stuff, but it's not always possible, and sometimes functionality will not be available or the game just wouldn't run because, you know, all these newer games, they access the server. Again, this is just trailing off too much. Fanboyism exists to this day. People are just addicted to the us and them mentality. They like to form cliques and groups, and I purposely stay away from that. I just embrace different views. I like different views. I like to have a different opinion, and it's okay. But some people just want to shove their opinion down your throat and just, you know, and become very nasty if you just don't do what they do. And that's something that I have a problem with. For the most part, I'm a very rounded person. I have a lot of fat, and so yeah, my physical roundness is okay. My psychological roundness, well, yeah, if you know my profession, you'll probably know that that department will probably be okay, or at least simulated okay. Yeah, so if you haven't heard about Pattimus, great person, a very great sense of humor, and you really need to go check out her videos. They're random as shit, but they're just awesome. And yeah, I am actually voting for Patty to be YouTuber of the Month because I found out she was nominated. I believe Woodlin has nominated her as for YouTuber of the Month. So please go vote for Pattimus for YouTuber of the Month. And yeah, that's it. Just a response video. And oh yeah, I seem to have reached 2,000 subs. I already posted something on Google Plus about that. I'm going to make an official video on that topic, thanking everybody who subscribed, new and old. It's just amazing. I mean, it's unfathomable how many people actually, chose to click that subscribe button. And yeah, my videos get watched, not by all 2,000. For some reason, not everybody who is subscribed watches all the videos, I guess. But there's a substantial group of people that just consistently watches and replies and makes comments, and I really like that a lot. That's why I do YouTube, for the interaction. But that's for another video. Mark signing off, and I'll be back with another video soon. Ta-ta!